Barry, thank you so much for meeting with me for the Washington State Week of Cultures and Harmonies What is American Culture project.
All right.
I was hoping to focus on how different Native American communities in Washington State respond to this question of American culture.
You know, when I think about American culture, it's something that challenges me in a way. I feel a certain amount of loyalty to this country, to this nation. At the same time, I'm really aware of the history between this country and Native American peoples. The history of genocide and displacement, violence, and forced assimilation that's part of that history. And so when you ask about what does it mean to be American, it's a question that's very difficult for me to answer. Several months ago, I was attending an event in downtown Spokane, and I was wearing a jacket that was given to me by my employer on the Kalispel Indian Reservation. And the jacket has words in Salish on the back that say Kalispelig Nuwewulstin Unkalichsutin, which means Kalispel language and culture. So I was wearing this jacket, and an elderly man stopped me, and he said, "Sir, I have to ask you, what does your jacket say?" So I read it for him, and he says, "Well, what language is that written in?" And I said, "It's the Kalispel language." And he says, "Well, where is that language spoken?" And I said, "Well, the Kalispel Indian Reservation is near Cusick, Washington. It's about 40 or 45 miles north of Spokane." And he was absolutely surprised, shocked to learn that there was another language spoken here before English. And this was a man who had been in Spokane his entire life and was completely unaware that there was any other language here or any other culture here before English. And so when you ask the question, what does American culture mean? You know, for me, it's difficult to answer. I'm representing a different culture. I'm coming from a different culture, from a Salish, from a Spokane culture that has pre-existed this thing we call America by maybe 10,000 years.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying. I think we can't really start the conversation about American cultural identity without starting from Native American perspectives. Let's look at the music from the Spokane tradition and see, you know, if there's any particular songs or type of songs that you think it might be appropriate for me to learn from you on the violin.
There's quite a number of songs, particularly ceremonial songs, that I think would not be appropriate to share outside of that ceremonial context. So in my mind, I'm thinking through all the ones that I wouldn't be able to share and that wouldn't be appropriate to learn outside of that context. Another type of song that comes to mind are actually church songs. We have quite a collection of hymns that were translated into the Salish language back in the mid to late 1800s and that are still in use today. I have a book, it's called Quelem Uan Chauman, and that means songs and prayers. There's a picture of the St. Ignatius Mission on the cover in Montana. So from the Flathead in Montana to the Kalispel of eastern Washington, the Spokane of eastern Washington, that whole territory spoke the same language, Salish language, with some minor variations. So each community sings these songs in a slightly different way. It actually doesn't follow the music that's written. So we have what was intended by the priests and then we have an indigenization that has happened over time. Chanawe Jesu.
Yesterday, Barry sang for me 3 songs, and he showed me the notated version of 2 of those songs, and we both agreed that this notation was very out of date. So Barry and I thought it would be good if I went back to the original songs and made new notated versions. I hope I'm doing this without any sort of bias or agenda. I might have gotten a duration wrong. William, for shame. I have mixed feelings about even the idea of notating music from Native American traditions, because the notation isn't a part of the tradition. What does the notation do? It allows me as a violinist to very easily play along while they're singing, but also, you know, maybe it only succeeds in capturing those parameters of the music that are not the most important parameters.
So there's a hymn titled Chanawe Jesu Kli, which means to you, Jesus Christ. And so as you hear the words to the song, it definitely has a Christian message to it. It says, Chanawe Jesu Kli, Chanawe Jesu Kli, Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia. And so you can definitely hear the overt Christian message to it. But then as you listen to the song, it has, I believe, an indigenization or an indigenous tone to it that has evolved over time, and where I feel that we as Native people have reclaimed the song or refashioned the song for our own purposes, our own protocols, and even our own singing styles. So the church songs were designed by white American and European missionaries who taught these songs to our ancestors in the 1800s with the purpose of assimilating us into American and European cultures. And so for many years, these songs were used in Catholic worship services that were designed to put away our traditional, our indigenous forms of spirituality and give us in replacement this version of Christianity that they wanted us to adopt. Over time, Native people took ownership of these songs, and even as the church influence has declined in this area over the last 30 or 40 years, many Native people continue to use these songs, and the songs, these hymns, many of them have actually taken on a Native quality where they have some of the same protocols and some of the same uses that many of our traditional songs would have. Chanawe Jesu Sukalia Chanawe Jesu Sukalia. Alleluia. Alleluia. Jesu, Sukalia, Janawe, Jesu, Sukalia.